Hello and welcome from me, Philip Northard and Curtis Hutchinson to this special Motor Trade Radio podcast brought to you in association with eBay Motors Group. Many thanks for joining us for this, the sixth in our series of special interviews with industry leaders during the COVID-19 crisis. Following recent conversations with Sytner Group's Darren Edwards, Virtue Motors' Robert Forrester, the IMDA's Umesh Samani, ASE's Mike Jones, and last week's interview with Nathan Tomlinson, owner of Devonshire Motors. All of these podcasts are still available to stream online from motortraderadio.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts.
Our special guest today is Kristian Elvefors, Managing Director of Volvo Car UK. Now, Kristian is the first car maker to come onto our special series of interviews during the lockdown. So welcome to the show, Kristian. And how's home working going for you? How is the experience? And what's a typical day for you at the moment?
I think it's very busy days. I think over Eastern it was a bit slower pace, but it's coming back again, and it starts quite early with my allowed short walk outside the house, and then back with some fresh energy from the fresh air, and then it's Teams for the full day, I would say. So it's conference and videos from early morning to the late evening.
And you were describing before we came on that you're actually in lockdown with your family, and you all go off to your separate rooms to work through the day.
Yeah, I think we had an agreement together as a family how we should cope with the lockdown. And my wife is also working, and also the kids are going into the school and doing digital lessons. But I think it works quite well. You need to have some sort of agreement within the family how to handle things to survive, I would say. it works well.
Yes.
So in terms of welcome, Kristian, as well. So in terms of the lockdown, can you take us through how you implemented the lockdown for Volvo cars in the UK?
I think actually the week before the official lockdown, the 21st, we started to close the offices to test how actually we were able to work from home. I think we saw it coming, and we said we need to try out so we can have everyone working from home, and to test the video conferencing, and people can, in quite a structured way, take the gears home and set up desktops and home working offices. And also the number of Teams licenses needed to be added as we were so many people to start to work from home. I think it went quite well. On the 21st, I was the last person leaving the office in Maidenhead, and Daventry was also closed accordingly as well. So that's how we managed it, and so far so good.
So captain of the ship and women and children first, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, but I think it was a very structured way of doing it as we started a week earlier, and also people could come in and change the computers, and a lot of people pretend to be able to do video conferencing, and even if we had invested a lot of money, there was a lot of people that were not used to it. So in that sense, a lot of people now are more used to using things like Teams, and that's pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
also
Kristian,
you realize you have some people coming in and printing papers all the time, and you wonder why do we print? So there have been some developments as well, that's for sure.
Some learnings, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Kristian, on the subject of communication, since the lockdown started, how have you maintained communication channels with your dealer partners? I mean, for instance, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we spoke to Robert Forrester, he was talking about a WhatsApp group that one of the OEMs was running, and a lot of the dealers had jumped on board, and everyone's talking to each other. So, yeah, I wondered if you're using WhatsApp groups, for instance, and how would you actually describe the mood of your dealers at the moment?
Yeah, I think communication is key. Yes, everything. I do my video clips to my staff every morning. both the furloughed ones and the ones that are still working, to just give them some energy and to see my face and also what we're doing, and also the same with the retailers. I think we are doing the WhatsApp with the retailer advisory board, and we also have retailer advisory board meetings twice a week, and also WebEx 1 or twice a week with the rest of the retailers. I think all the information sharing we can do, and also learning from each other best practice, and sharing how people have furloughed and how they are adapting to the rules from the government have been really knowledgeable for everyone. And I think the retailers are working very close together with us. And so I think we have had a good session so far, and we have learned a lot from each other. That's really positive. And I think the retailer network are still positive, but of course, if this will continue for months more to come, then I think we are in a tougher environment than we are today. But so far, so good.
So just on that, I mean, the lockdown, as we know, came in at potentially, I mean, we say the worst time it could happen. I suppose there is a positive view that at least we got part of March before lockdown. But obviously, it's come in one of the bigger months of the year, if not the biggest month of the year for both car retailers and for OEMs. How did the business manage to sort of facilitate, obviously, March deliveries? Because obviously, it's a matter of getting the deliveries both to the retailers as quickly as possible, then out to the customers as quickly as possible. And how are you addressing the orders that have been caught up in the pipeline? Because obviously, there'll be product that is at different stages within the pipeline as well.
I think when we went into March, everyone was super positive. Big order books, a lot of cars coming, and I think we were in a very, very good shape. And then suddenly mid-16th of March, it just started to slow down. And then that week we realized we will not get all the cars we needed, and the factory in Belgium was shut, and who was providing us with the XC40s. The week after, when we had the former lockdown in the UK, also Rusland was shut. And that, I think as we were so dependent on so many cars coming in from the last weeks of March, it was a bit of a drama those days. But I think what we needed to do already first week, already the day one in the lockdown, was to take away all the target settings and all the audits we are doing, and requirements and demonstrations and demonstrators, show cars, etc. So I would say that we were the first that ran out of taking away a lot of the burdens towards the retailers. And that's things I think we got a lot of positive feedback from that one.
Now, Kristian, you've got an interesting perspective, as you ran Volvo's operations in Sweden for 4 years before becoming UK MD in March last year. Can you tell us how important the UK is for Volvo, and also what level of support have you had from Sweden since the lockdown started?
I think what is so good with Volvo, it's a so easy access to everyone within the office and in the headquarters. I think for me as an MD or from anyone in the office to call into the executive management team or call the production, and it's just one call away. I think that is one of our key advantages as a small business. So they are super supportive. And I think from coming as an MD from Sweden, we have always been the home market. Home market is always special, but UK, Germany, and Sweden are the top three markets of the EMEA. And also looking historic about the UK, and also in the 80s when we were actually selling 85 to 87,000 units, we have a long history as a strong brand within the UK, and that is something that we would like to keep up. Of course, UK is a super important market for us.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've in terms of that year-on-year, month-on-month growth over recent years, and in terms of that sort of future product lineup, it's certainly it's got a firm place in the UK, as some of the head CEO of groups have certainly said, in terms of those that are supporting the brand as well. So No, it's looking good. So in terms of what...
I got to say the 7,000 cars yet from the 80s when we had the 340 around. That's a bit a way to go still. Yeah.
It's heading in the right direction, though, isn't it, Kristian? I mean, it's some very positive growth and positive investment in the UK, isn't there?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of what work are you and the team currently doing now? Because obviously we're now starting, there's the potential restart of the business as sort of hopefully the lockdown is starting to consider getting lifted, and obviously we don't know exactly when that is going to be, but obviously there was this process of going into lockdown and closing things down, and then now it's a case of thinking about the other side of this. And how involved are the dealers in that process as well in terms of this restart for Volvo in the UK and the dealer network?
I think from a restart strategy point of view, if you don't have the retailers on board, then you will not succeed. So I think that's super important to have them on board very early. And we have a lot of debates with them how we should do it and what to focus on. And I'm also very thankful that they are sharing so much knowledge with us, because I think we need them. Otherwise, we will struggle to do the restart. And we have today 70% of our people are furloughed within Volvo Car UK. They don't have access to emails, to telephones whatsoever. So they have this furloughed WhatsApp, where I share some information with them. So we are a very small team working, and we are working very hard to get this done now, and really involved by the dealers as well. So I think we are getting there, but it's not about how, it's about more than when can we do the restart now. I think we are quite ready to go.
Now, Kristian, the final question for you, and it's kind of a big one. How do you think car retailing will change after the lockdown is lifted in terms of, what role will social distancing have in car transactions? And, do you foresee more transactions or more of the transaction process moving online?
I think it will take a long time until we see that we are coming back to something we had when we left. I think not only the workshops, how they are operating and how they will operate in the future that will change for sure. I do think we will see much more sanitizer, much more face masks, much more different way of workings to keep the social distancing, much more pickup and deliveries on a workshop perspective. I think from a new car sales, it can take time until we are able to open workshops again, and work to the showrooms. So I think virtual sales and online sales will take a bigger part, and that also includes pickup and deliveries for customers. So there will be a change, and until we have any form of vaccine or whatsoever, it will look differently. And of course, I think the online sales thing would have changed the coming years anyhow, but the coronavirus took us there a bit earlier.
Yes, because as a brand, like many brands, you actually have an online transaction facility, don't you? So that was already in place, which must be helping you at the moment. I just wonder how busy that is at the moment. Are you getting a lot of customers coming online and looking at buying cars?
No, we are seeing a certain amount of cars going that direction as well, but it's also getting the customer used to buy a car in that sense, because it's not that easy to buy a car online, even if everyone is providing tools to do it. It's easier to sell a stock car than to configure something new. So I think not only us, but all car manufacturers have some adjustments to do to get the proper online sales tool up, and also the guidance part of it, because it's still quite an expensive product you are buying, or you are taking on a PCH or a PCP. So you need to feel secure that you're buying the right thing, and then you need some personal assistance as well throughout the purchasing process.
And just following on from the social distancing, actually in the showroom, between staff and customers, do you foresee that process actually changing? And would you not necessarily be concerned if you see a drop in footfall, for instance, because a lot of the transactions would have moved online?
Yeah, I think it's also the differences between now with risk groups and how they will handle the situation going forward as well. Because I think you need to be able to operate both scenarios going forward. So even if you're getting back to some sort of reopening of the showrooms, there will be customers out there that are not willing to come in. And you need to help them with an online solution. I think that's super important. So a bit of divided workspace in the future.
Yeah, it is certainly going to be a long period of time, because it is going to change things. We are going to be entering a new normal, no matter what into on the exit of all this. And as you say, Kristian, that the social distancing and the way retailers and OEMs and consumers operate between themselves will have to change in the short to medium term until the confidence comes back and things like that. So no, I can see some of those challenges being there for some time initially.
And also, I think the importance for us as OEM and also for the retailers is to provide the customers with a safe process for handovers and buying and workshops, not only for the customers, but also for the employees. So I think we are paying a lot of attention to do this as safely as possible, and also implement new guidelines and new processes.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, Kristian, we'll try not to keep you much longer. So we appreciate you coming on. It's been absolutely fantastic in terms of thanks for joining us on the show and obviously sharing some of the perspective as an OEM, obviously with our listeners. It's been a fascinating chat as we knew it would be, and obviously from Curtis, myself and the Motor Trade Radio, we want to wish you and the Volvo team and the family all the best, and please obviously stay safe, and obviously in terms of the partners during these challenging times ahead. So thanks for joining us today, Kristian. It's been an absolute pleasure and appreciated.
And thank you. And I'm a true fan, as I said in the beginning as well. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristian.
We do our best. So that's all for now. You've been listening to this special Motor Trade Radio podcast brought to you in association with eBay Motors Group. So please like and share on social media. It is important during these challenging times that we share across the dealer community to work together and share experiences and best practices. Curtis and I will be back with the industry headlines on Saturday as normal, but watch out for more special podcast interviews as we work through this unique crisis that we find ourselves in. So many thanks for listening, and please do stay safe, everybody.